It's working now. I'm live on YouTube. I just had to close OBS and open it back up. Okay, I can stream now. I've just been having issues all day long. Hopefully this is the last of it. Okay, now we're going to do the 100 words per minute class, number 21. We're gonna do the drill first. Let me get Notepad++ on. Okay. Do some of them have briefs, in a sense? No. I guess there's no need for it.
L long A J. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, L long A J S. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and say these a few times, kind of drill you on these, okay?
Okay.
Innocence, innocent, instruction, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So you're just adding the S with that one. Innocence, innocent, instruction, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Instruction, innocence, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Innocent, ladies and gentlemen. Instruction, ladies and gentlemen. Innocence, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Innocent. And I know right now you're still in what's considered a slower speed. So sometimes the reader might say, ladies and gentlemen, and you might already be on that before they get to of the jury. But probably by around 140, it's going to get faster and faster, and you're going to hear that before you even start writing it. So ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It's very nice just to write it as L long A J S, and it saves you several strokes. So I encourage you to go back and really focus on those, okay? All right, so moving right along, I have a phrase drill. Not all of these can be phrased. Some of them can, but some of them can't. So they're phrases that people often say. So you're going to phrase wherever you can, possible. Save strokes, okay? You're going to hear weather. So don't forget, the brief for weather is WHR on the initial side. Okay, whether or not, WHRORN. And you're going to hear a lot of the whether or not. Okay, some people even like to write WHRORNT. I don't like to put in the T because I feel like that's just an added, key that you have to hit. So, okay, here we go. Ready? Whether he wants. Whether I want. Whether I wanted. Whether or not he wanted. Whether or not he wants. Whether or not I want. Whether or not I wanted. Whether or not you wanted. And really focus on your accuracy. A lot of times our mistakes come from very simple words like I, you, and so forth. Whether or not you wanted. Whether you want. Whether you wanted. Which he wanted. Which he wants. Which I want. Which I wanted. Which you want. Which you wanted. Who he wanted. Who he wants. Who I want. Who I wanted. Who want. Who wanted. Who wants. Who you want. Who you wanted. Will want. Would want. You want. You wanted. He was. Don't forget that phrase, E final FS. How was. Anything with was is final FS. I was. If he was, you can phrase that whole thing. If I was, again, you can phrase that whole thing. It was. She was. So he was. So you can at least phrase he was. So I was. That he was. You can phrase the whole thing. That I was. That was. There was. This was. We was. I know that's not proper English, but some people talk like that, so you're writing what you hear. What he was. Again, phrase the whole thing. What I was. What was. When he was. When I was. So most of those toward the end you can phrase. So you're saving strokes.
Oh, for some reason my Steno machine just stopped. Okay, it's disconnected. Okay.
All right, moving right into consonant compounds. This is going to focus on initial KR, initial PR, final FD.
Okay.
Here we go. The crew crossed the swollen creek. The crash created a problem. She crunched on the crumpet. The cruiser was crushed. The crepe paper was creased in the middle. Did you play cricket or cribbage at Chris's house? We prayed for an end to the pranks. The prefix precedes the noun. President Crowder put pressure on the press. The previous price levels were promoted by the store. The prophet provided a proposal. Some prosecutors protested the decision. Amy deserved to be served. He carved the turkey. Al reserved the curved table near the door. Many have lived and loved. The Joneses waved goodbye and moved away last summer. The paved street caved in after the flooding. Nate shaved off his mustache. All right.
Mustache.
I've got some sentences here that focus on legal briefs. The first one is contrary, K-R-A-E-R.
Contrary.
I've also heard of people writing it as K-R long A-R, so that's up to you.
Rare.
Contributory negligence,
Oh.
T-R-E-G.
Contributory negligence. She says this sometimes, and I completely forget because it's not regular vocabulary.
Treg. And counsel, K-O-U-N. Okay, so here are your sentences for contrary. Ready? Contrary to his earlier statement, he was there. If you are so contrary, you will lengthen the trial. Your testimony is contrary to that in the deposition. That whole concept is contrary to my belief. Okay, next one, contributory negligence, Treg. Contributory negligence is not a factor here. He was accused of contributory negligence. The defense will attempt to prove contributory negligence. Contributory negligence tempered the amount of his award. Okay, and last one is counsel, K-O-U-N, coun. He is represented by counsel. Counsel pleaded the case brilliantly. Her counsel asked to be removed from the case. Hand the document to counsel. She needs to seek counseling. He counseled the couple yesterday. Counselor, will you approach the bench? He counsels the students at registration. And one thing this book doesn't have is the brief for counselor, but I use it, and that is Kounl. So if you hear counselor, just throw in the L. Kounl. Okay. All right.
I wonder what
Moving into our next drill.
Practicing.
We've got the double O drill.
Double O.
So this is words. Doesn't necessarily have to have the oo sound, but anytime it's spelled, you have a word that.
Oh, ad break is starting. I forgot to do the ad break. I think. Right? It's almost 9:30. Well, oops, oopsies, oopsie poopsie.
Spelled O-O, you're using your A-O on your machine. Okay, regardless of how it's spelled, or I'm sorry, how it sounds. So the word stood, you know, that's a not more of a oo sound, but we still use the A-O for S-T-O-O-D. Okay, all right, here we go. Ready? Don't be late for school. The house needs a new roof. The spoon should be on the right. Are you going to the football game?
Wait, I just realized I didn't have stream chat up. Okay, I have it up now.
Are you going to leave at noon or sooner than that? It is a wooden fence. He stood in the way. Use the red stool so that you can reach. The bolt is loose. Use proper tools. The floor needs sweeping. Again, floor doesn't have the O-O, the oo sound, but it's spelled O-O, so we use A-O. That is a good spot for a picnic in the woods. He is no fool. The coat has a hood. The food is just great. The troops came home last week. Don't be a poor sport. Maybe he snoozed through class. Can you swim the length of the pool? Boulder Dam used to be called Hoover Dam. He croons the old ballads. The hen is in the coop. The flood is due tomorrow. The proof is in the pudding. It is cooler today. You must proofread. The sweater is virgin wool. Have you ever heard the cry of a loon? The pool is not deep enough to dive in. If you do it that way, the plan is foolproof. Mr. Cooper told us to clean the pool. If the trees are close together, the woods can be quite dark. John stood up for the smaller boy. He went over to the pool room about noon. A poop deck is a small deck which is over the main after deck of a ship.
Okay.
All right, so I know I did a little bit of talking, so we're going over a little bit. I'm going to give you one more drill. These are locations.
I forgot to pause for the ad break. Sorry. I was just too into it. I was focused. I'll pause now. After deck. Is that one word? Probably it's one word. Oh, I don't have the timer up. It's like 90 minutes now. My laptop keeps going dark.
With the radio stations, and you're going to use your initials for the radio station. So if I say WRDD, it's WRBGS. R RBGS, D RBGS, D RBGS. Okay, so don't forget that. All right, here we go. Ready? Lincoln, Maine, WLKN. Hillsdale, Michigan, WCSR. Montrose, Colorado, KWDE. Monmouth, Illinois, WRAM. Fort Morgan, Colorado, KFTM. Crystal River, Florida, WRYO. Okay, and that concludes our drill portion.
That was the end of the drill, okay. We're doing jury charge and literary now. My back kind of hurts. I've been slumped over stuff this whole time for hours.
Hello everyone, welcome to the literary and jury charge portion of the 100 class. We're going to start off with some defense opening statements.
Okay,
here we go.
Opening statement.
There have been several statements, as Mr. Kratz has already alluded to in his PowerPoint presentation, and this was in his opening statement. It starts off in a progression where Brendan says Stephen Avery killed Teresa Halbach, and it progresses to the point where he indicates he participated, and the state will argue to you later and offer evidence throughout the trial through the officers that they believe that this progression of audio taped statements from at the school, the videotaped statements at the police station, and then the final May 13 videotaped statement as a progression to the final truth. What we want you to consider, 3 things while you're watching these videotapes, and we agree, very powerful videotapes, very important videotapes, but like in a story, 2 different stories, there's a different perspective, a different theme. We want you to look at 3 things. Corroboration, similar to what the state offered. They want you to look at what it corroborated. We want you to also focus on what is not corroborated. There are dozens of details that go uncorroborated in these statements. Corroboration simply means that there's something independent that can prove the statements are true. Some other independent source that suggests that what you heard is accurate. But there are dozens of instances where their details are uncorroborated. The second to consider is the inconsistencies. There are a number of inconsistencies throughout this progression of statements. When you watch these statements, take note of the different changes from one statement to the next. Simple. Details that seem to be mundane, unnecessary change from statement to statement. And though the state will try to suggest that it's an escalating progression from the first time they met with Brendan Dassey to the last time he talked to them, it's really a roller coaster ride of the truth, up and down. One statement says one thing, the next says the other, and it just goes that way throughout this progression. Some of the changes are not logical.
Okay. I had difficulty with that one. Progression. Is there a brief for that? Yes, there is. It's prose. Prose. Inconsistency. Perspective.
Jonas is water just redeemed hydrate.
Thank you for redeeming hydrate, Jonas. How are you doing? Hello. Hello to you too. Had some difficulty with this opening statement. Escalating. Is there escalating? Collaboration? No. I have to build that one. Okay. Collaboration. Progression. Approach. Changes. Inconsistencies. Inconsistencies. Okay, I don't know how to write that one. Inconsistency. Inconsistency. I'm good. About to play some Magic the Gathering with my friends, so I'll be mostly lurking, but wanted to at least say hey first. Thank you! I know that I am streaming pretty late now, right now. I had some audio issues that I needed to fix. It took me 4 hours, but I'm here. Finally practicing. I appreciate you coming by.
Okay.
Have fun with your friends.
An article here on metals.
Metals.
Actually,
no?
Let me see here. I'm sorry.
I did some steno practice yesterday and I'm slowed down a bit. Ooh. But just gotta keep at it. Yeah.
I've already read that to you in the past, so I apologize for that.
120 is no joke. It's really hard. It's so difficult.
Okay. Sorry about that. This is on earthquakes.
100 feels tough.
I marked the wrong one.
120 is like impossible.
All right. So let me give you a word list. You're going to hear gigantic, cracking, earthquake, seismology, dislocation, propounded, scientists.
Where is my suggestions? It was by my chat window.
South America, Japan, geological, volcanoes. Here's your article. Ready? The crust of the earth is constantly changing. Gigantic forces are continually at work reshaping the rocks of which the crust consists, moving them, bending them, and cracking them. We are not aware of this gradual process until the day an earthquake occurs. Earthquakes are a common occurrence. In some areas of the world, such as California, South America, and Japan, hundreds of quakes take place each day, but they are so minor that they are not even felt. The study of earthquakes is called seismology. The instrument to measure the intensity of an earthquake is the seismograph. The great majority of earthquakes are caused by rapid movements or dislocations of the Earth's underground structure. Several theories have been propounded regarding the reason for these dislocations occurring. many scientists feel that quakes are a result of a natural geological process that interplays with the force of gravity. Certain earthquakes can be directly associated with volcanoes. The science of seismology is relatively new. Since changes in the Earth's crust take place over thousands of years, scientists have difficulty determining the cause and effect.
Okay, that was tough. Majority, I got that one wrong.
All right.
Okay, majort. Majort. Scientist.
Moving on.
It has a whole break for
Next
it.
article.
SP**S.
I'm going to give you the legal terms and then I will read the paragraph to you.
Okay.
Ready? We've got check, payee, maker, exchange, draft, legal, note, negotiable, instrument, payer, collateral, tender, promissory, security, pledged. Now there is a brief for legal. It's L long E-L, leal. Okay, here's your paragraph. Ready? A check is an instrument used to transfer money from one person to
check
the
is? Why is it coming out like that?
other. Any form of legal tender must be accepted as payment. A bill of exchange is called a draft. A promissory note is a written promise to pay a specified sum on a specific date. Security that is pledged for a note is called collateral. The payee is the person to whom a check, draft, or a note is made payable. The one who orders the payment is the maker. The one who pays the check, draft, or note is the payer.
Okay, pay or it has a asterisk for the second part.
I've got an article here on air pollution. Here we go, ready? The air we breathe is filled with millions of particles of foreign substances, referred to as pollution. These substances are so minute that we don't even know we are breathing them. Smoke and gas are contributed to the air through fires, residential, industrial, and forest. Gas is also created by the deterioration of plant and animal remains. Nature itself is a large contributor to pollution. Sandstorms, dust storms, and volcanic eruptions introduce elements in the air that cause pollution. Pollens, mold, and bacteria are shed from plant life, and the wind lifts them into the atmosphere. Human beings, through the industrial process, have added factories and vehicles to our civilization, which emit smoke, gas, and chemicals. The word smog was coined by joining the words smoke and fog to describe the addition of solid particles in the air. In recent years, people have contaminated the air even further through radioactive fallout from the atomic bomb. The greatest threat now to air pollution is the waste created from nuclear power plants and nuclear bombs if it should escape into the atmosphere. All right.
Atmosphere.
Moving right into some legal terms and a legal paragraph. So you're going to hear ownership. The brief for that is OIP. Plat, a plot of land. Abstract, liens. Title, common, conveyed, deed, easement, property, encumbrances, and tenancy. Here is your paragraph. Ready? Real property is the land and everything attached to it or growing from it. The ownership of real property is called title. Title to real property may be conveyed from one person to another through an instrument called a deed, liens, encumbrances, and a history of the ownership of real property are found in the abstract. The map showing the division of the land into lots is called the plat. An easement conveys the right for land to be used for some other specified purpose. For example, utility companies may exercise their easement rights. There are two types of ownership of land and property: tenancy in common and joint tenancy.
Tenancy. Tenancy. It comes out as Tennessee. Okay,
All right.
there. Not Tennessee.
Got some legal opinion.
Legal opinion.
Here we go. In this case, we are asked to consider whether the Copyright Act, which was drafted in 1909, applies to one of the recent innovations of the scientific community, cable network.
Scientific. Let me look this up. Stick.
Scientific community, cable network systems. The operations of cable network systems are based upon the use of other people's property. The issue here is whether, in this case, the owner of any copyrighted material should be compensated, and if so, how should he be compensated? From a technical standpoint, the question, or at least one important question, is whether the use constitutes a performance of the copyrighted material within the meaning of the Copyright Act, it is certainly an understatement to say that the Copyright Act, including the concept of performance, was not created with the development of cable network systems in mind. At the same time, the ramifications of any decision we may reach as to the copyright liability of cable network systems are very extensive. On the other hand, it can be predicted that the imposition of full liability upon all cable network systems operations could result in the demise of this new important instrument of mass communications, or in its becoming a tool of the powerful networks which already hold a substantial number of copyrights of original materials used in the television broadcasting industry. On the other hand, it is foreseen that a decision to the effect that cable network systems never infringes on the copyrights of the programs they carry would permit some systems to overpower local broadcasting stations, which must pay directly or indirectly for copyright licenses, and with which cable network systems is in increasing competition. The court recognizes the competing considerations, the complexity of any conceivable equitable solution, and the obvious desirability of ultimately reaching a solution. As you know, an important legal question is involved in this case. It must be resolved to satisfy the requirements
doing
of the copyright,
which is using a shorthand system to take down dictation. So this person, she is reading some material out loud, and I'm just copying it down using a machine. It is currently at 100 words per minute.
Act, and at the same time not discourage growth and development in this new field. I encourage each member of the panel to carefully weigh the evidence that has been presented to you and to weigh the obvious ramifications against the less obvious ramifications. I implore you to seek a solution that is not only applicable now, but applicable in similar situations in the future.
I didn't do very well on that.
I think that was more on the difficult side, so
Yeah,
don't be frustrated if you...
Development, implore. Okay, that's just, I just need to build that. Implore, okay, I have implore down. Ramification, always good to check the dictionary. Okay, I have it down now. Applicable. Applicable, okay, applicable.
Found it was difficult. You can always go back and practice to it again.
Yeah.
There are a few phrases that we covered or that I spoke of, and I will give those to you. They said in this case a couple of times. I write that as Nick. In this case, Nick.
Nick,
and
yeah.
then if I ever get the word Nick, I flag it. In that case is knack, N-A-K.
In that case.
Knack. Again, if I get that word, I'll flag it. That comes up quite a bit. In this case, in that case, in the case. In the case is neck. So again, if I get neck, I'm going to flag neck because attorneys are constantly saying in this case, in that case, in the case. So those are my briefs for those. Nick, knack, neck. Now if you want, you can flag those, and then the regular words, nick, knack, neck, you can just write those out. That's up to you. Okay, but I think you just have to weigh how often do you hear that. Do you hear neck more often, or do you hear in the case more often? Okay, so let's see. We also heard at the same time, T long AMT, taint. Let's see, at the time, TET. So again, has been, HA final B. So if you use those phrases, it's just going to help you, especially with dense material like this. It's going to help you to keep up with the reader because you've got these tools to, shorten a, what would usually be a 4 or 5 stroke, phrase or word. You're bringing it down to 1. So it's going to make all the difference in the world. But you have to practice them so you're not hesitating and then losing words. Okay, so that concludes our literary and jury charge for the 100 class. Have a great day.
Okay, I just finished it. Move on to the Q&A. I'm going to do terribly at it, like always. But if we just practice over and over again, eventually...
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 100 Q&A portion of the class. We're going to start out today with plaintiff attorney questioning. Here we go. Ready? What is your full name? David Carl Johnson. And what is your present home address? 1408 Broadway, Atlanta, Georgia. What is your telephone number? 728-555-7470. Okay. How long have you lived in Atlanta, Georgia? For the last year. Where did you live prior to that? Here in Macon. Did you ever have an occasion to meet a person by the name of Brian Smith? Yes. When did you first have occasion to meet Brian Smith? In 2006. Did you ever negotiate with Brian Smith to go into a business with him? Yes, I did. What type of business was that? The wholesale nursery business. When did that take place? That was in December, the 1st of December, 2008. Can you tell me where that discussion took place and what the essence of that discussion was? Well, Brian had told me that he had found, through an ad on the internet, a greenhouse that he thought would be a good deal, and he would like to go into the business. We sat down and talked about it and figured out how we would do it. What else was discussed at that time, if anything? Well, I don't remember anything about the details that we discussed, but we did look at a nursery greenhouse. Okay. Now, you looked at a greenhouse. Where was that greenhouse? In Augusta. I don't know the exact street address, but it was on Savannah Road. Did you visit the greenhouse? Yes. What did you observe at that time? I observed what looked like a jungle that nobody could get through At the time, it was completely overgrown. Who was with you at that time? Brian. Did you speak with anybody at that time at the greenhouse? Well, not the first day we went to look at it, but the next day we did. Whom did you speak with then? A Mr. Nelson. Did you have any discussion with Mr. Nelson at that time? Yes, we talked to him. We wanted to find out more about the business and to get the records of the business to find out if they were making money. What did he say to you at that time, and what did he do? He looked at his records and said that he didn't have the complete accounting records for the business on hand, and that at the time he couldn't help us. Did he do any searching at all? How much time did he take to look? We were in his office for a couple of hours while he was on his computer, and then we came back a couple of other times when he was still looking. But at that time, what did he state to you? At that time, he stated to us that he didn't have the records of all of the plants. He didn't even know what he had in inventory at that time. Was anything else said at this meeting where you and Mr. Smith were present with Mr. Nelson about the business? Yes, Mr. Nelson indicated to us that he was willing to sell the business to us real cheap, as he put it. What do you think he meant by that? He said he had a lot of bills to pay that his wife had left him, and he just wanted to get out from under the business. Did he actually give you a selling price? No, he said he would take $25,000 down and we could pay the rest later. Okay, I'm going to switch transcripts.
Okay, I didn't do too badly on that. At the time, at that time, okay.
Okay, let's see.
Actually, that's exactly.
Okay, I think it's defense attorney questioning. Here we go. Okay, after the two impacts, what did you do next? Your mother's truck.
Redeemed posture check.
Thank you for checking my posture. It's been checked. I was shrimping a little bit. That actually helped.
Apparently had stopped again, correct? Yeah. She had her foot on the brake, so it didn't go very far, right? No, it didn't. After the dust had settled, what did you do next? Everybody, well, we all took off our seat belts and we got out of the car. Is that what you mean? Yes, go ahead. And my mom told us to go call the police because she heard his car trying to move, like trying to get out from underneath us. So she told us to go call the police just in case he might try to take off. Whose car? Was this behind? Under? The one behind.
Hello, Zim.
The lady in front. She got out of her car. She goes, "It's just a scratch. Don't worry about it." So when the light changed, she went. She was in a hurry. You said that the...
That's awesome.
Well, what kind of car was behind your truck?
Oh, I'm a little
blue-
soft. My vocals. I'll lower the volume of the instructor. I am a little far away because my machine's between my thighs. Okay, that should be good compared to the lady talking in the stream. Okay. I'm a little closer now. I'll just move closer the microphone.
Blue one. It was a blue car behind you? Uh-huh. Yes?
Better now? Awesome. Let me move my notepad. I don't know who's talking.
Yes. Behind your truck. The blue one. It was a blue car behind you? Uh-huh. Yes? Yes. That was the car that was underneath your truck? Yes. Did you get out of the car and see it actually underneath your truck? Part of it was, yes, like the hood. This is so hard to explain. Go ahead, you can do it. I know I can, but when I got out of the car, I looked, and I was like so scared because I've never been in a car accident before.
I've been never.
So I was just like a nervous wreck. So when I looked underneath, the car was ruined because of it. Underneath your truck? Yes. There was a blue car that was underneath. Was it underneath the bumper part of your truck? Yes. What kind of bumper did you have on that truck? Was it a big metal bumper? No, we didn't have a bumper. It was just like the back of the truck. So there was no bumper? Did somebody take the bumper off the back of your truck before this accident? We never had one. I don't think so. A bumper is just the round thing on the back, right? Yes, it is. Okay, thank you. Do you know whether that truck came equipped with a bumper? No, it didn't. And that concludes our Q&A practice for the...
Okay, that wasn't too bad either. I am getting a little faster. Gonna do the practice test now. Maybe I should make...
Hello everyone.
smaller.
This is going to be a 100 Q&A test. Okay. Plaintiff attorney is Mr. Nefter.
louder now.
N-E-F-T-E-R. Defense is Mr. Carlson. C-A-R-L-S-O-N. Again, plaintiff attorney Mr. Nefter. N-E-F-T-E-R. Defense is Mr. Carlson. C-A-R-L-S-O-N. Okay, and we are going to start out with defense. And defense is questioning.
Defense is questioning. Okay. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Ready? Okay, and why exactly did you stop working there? I did not have enough hours. You said not enough hours? That is right. It wasn't enough. Okay, when you last worked there, who was your immediate supervisor? Who did you report to? It was Mr. Gibson. So you may have worked for them last year as well? I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. I'm sorry. That's okay. When you worked for them, as I previously asked you, you said that you worked for the district from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. When would you go work over there at that location? It would all depend. The hours were different before for the district. Okay, can you expand on that? Well, I'd work after maybe, it's hard to say because the students, some days they would get out of school earlier. It just depended on the school. So I had a lot of different students from all different schools. Do you mean through the tutoring company? Uh-huh, yes. It is supplemental educational services, so... Okay, so you weren't working at the office location in Austin necessarily? No. We would go to their actual homes, or we would meet in the libraries. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. It could be at a cafe, too. It could be at a Starbucks. It was wherever they wanted to meet. When you would go to these libraries or their homes, were they generally out here in Austin? Or what city would they be in? Yes, they would be in the city of Austin. In Austin, okay. And during this period of time, when you had the two employments at the Texas College Foundation, did you ever sustain any injuries during that period of time? No, I did not. Okay, can you describe for me how the injury of October 2014 occurred? What happened? Well, I was coming to work and there was like a big cloud in the air. So we got to work and the fire personnel were already there. So they were there before you actually got to work? Well, I don't know. When we got there, I think that they were already there, but I can't be certain. Okay, so then what happened when you got to work? I was actually carpooling with one of the other ladies, and what is his title? It was one of the workers that somebody just told us that there was some kind of a leak and that we were to wait across the street until we were given more instructions as to what to do next. Okay, now who were you carpooling with? What was the name of the lady that you were carpooling with on that day. Her name is Paige. Do you know her last name? No, I can't remember what her last name is. And did you and Paige proceed to wait across the street after you got instructions to do that? No.
Okay, then what did they do?
Okay.
What did they do? They were supposed to
So
wait
we
across
do
the
have a
street.
word
What
list.
did they do? I'm confused. What did they do? Okay. Well, I'm not gonna get an answer to that question. Sometimes I just cannot believe what I'm taking down. It must have, like, it's messing with me, so it must have been, like, something else to the actual court reporter who took down, this testimony. Okay, I was having trouble with 100, but we're gonna move on to 120 anyway.
They don't have to be phrases that...
Oh, wait. She's really, okay, 10?
you use on your machine, but phrases that people say. Okay, here we go.
Let me raise her to 20.
Injury.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Injury, injured, reasonably, as a result, voluntary, character, persons, dangerous, minor, no, principle, within, within the, brings, anything, regarding, explained, had been, how many, personally, written, representative, after the, that the, submitted, months, inquire, received, let the record show, proceed, state your name, are you, Chicago, Illinois, how long, establish, facts, faction, jury, would you please, you are the, avenue, after, can you tell, approximately, what is your occupation, what you mean, objections, limited, itself, energy, commonly, frequently, American, averaged, relationship, numb, number, numbered, numbed, proper, characteristics, areas, and balanced. Okay, I have some high frequency briefs and phrases that are used in
Characteristic? Characteristic. Okay, I don't know how to write that. Characteristic. Her-istic. Characteristic. How do I write that? I don't know how to write it. Oh my god.
sentences. So this focuses a lot on in the, is the, up the, will be, with the. Ready? I had jet lag. Put it in the jar. Dad got in a car. Dad yelled at her. Is gas in the car? Sis is in the yard. is the cat napping? I jogged up the hill. I will be glad if Jill is. Get a gift at the shop.
It's going really slow.
The dog yapped at Ned. The snob snubbed her. I got a job with the vet. I met her in the jazz club. The cat is snug in the quilt. Did Ted get a job yet? Dad got a gig in the jazz club. The big snarling dog bit her. Okay. I have another drill. This focuses on words that have the ending ly. So I'm going to give you the words and then the sentences. Ready?
Ly.
Fully, truly, obviously, which I use as a brief, OFL, approximately, which is initial P, final L, promptly, accordingly, particularly, hopefully, consequently, internally, adversely, and sincerely. Okay, and here are your sentences. Do you fully understand the charges filed against you? We are fully aware of her condition. Are you truly interested in this case? She is truly a good sport. Obviously, no one will participate. He is obviously an exception to the rule. Will you promptly reply to this letter? Promptly send your payment to this address. We are, accordingly, very embarrassed about this situation. Accordingly, the jury reached a verdict. He is particularly concerned with her welfare. We are particularly interested in her opinion. Consequently, no one sent in their response. Dave is, consequently, a valuable ally. She was injured internally. The bullet lodged internally. Sam was adversely affected by the strike. Will his testimony adversely affect your case? The vehicle stopped approximately 20 feet from the intersection. Was the knife approximately 6 inches long? Hopefully, we will have his answer by Monday. Stacy will hopefully recover from her injuries. She is sincerely interested in a promotion and a raise. Okay, I have a word drill for you. Actually, it's a number and word drill. I'm going to give you the numbers first, and then I will give you the paragraph. Okay? All right, and this deals with pounds, inches, and feet.
Pounds, inches,
Here we go.
feet.
122 pounds, 15 pounds, 5 feet, 6 inches, 200 pounds, 4 feet, 2 inches, 9 feet, 4 inches, 10 pounds, 255 pounds, 86 pounds. Okay, here are your sentences. When the study was completed by the Equity Insurance Company, we discovered some interesting things. First, the boys between 13 and 17 years old ranged in height from 5 feet 1 inch tall to 5 feet 11 and a half inches tall. Their weight ranged from 110 pounds to 187 pounds. Second, the girls, who were also between 13 and 17 years old, ranged in height from 5 feet tall to 5 feet 8 inches tall.
Whoops, sometimes I hit my keyboard when I'm going for my mouse. The ad break is gonna start in a minute.
Their weight ranged between 98 pounds and 155 pounds. This information has been documented by Equity Insurance. Okay. I have a consonant compound drill for you. This focuses on final NT, final RD.
Okay, since the ad break is going to start soon, let me just look up some words. Information, I always forget this. Brief. NFRGZ. NFRGZ. Equity. Okay, ad break ends in 3 minutes, so I'll just be chilling. Still in the middle of the drill. I had trouble with this exercise. I got equity. I'm just looking at my phone, not doing anything in particular. Wow! I can update the YouTube sub goal. Let me do that. Okay. I updated the sub goal. It's now at 509 out of 525. Surprising that people followed. Subscribes, I mean, during the stream. I don't really expect many views, so there are only like 42 views for this live stream. So I'm not like I don't expect for people to follow. Subscribe. It sucks that Twitch and YouTube use the words follow and subscribe differently. I wish it were the same. But didn't really expect anyone to subscribe during this live stream. Especially because I'm really struggling here to do these exercises. 100 words per minute is killer. It's just really tough. Ad break is going to end soon. Oh, ad break has ended.
Final RB and final RMS. Ready? It is apparent that you sent the rent. The ant ate the mint jelly. The runt is the brunt of the jokes. Kay's tent pole was bent. The hint by the parent was to punt. The present talent hunt is conducted by Brent. Jay steered the Ford toward the guardrail. The third car was ordered and delivered to Pam Baird. The tattered coat was not altered. The battered woman said nothing mattered. Roy littered the yard. The hired man has the cord for the board. Did the barb disturb Herb? The Serb lives near the suburb. Did the remarks perturb Lee or curb his temper? The farms have swarms of wasps. Some firms require performance norms. Are the dorms equipped with smoke alarms? Okay,
that's the end of the drill. I can move on now. This is all new to me material, unlike with 100 words per minute. I haven't done any of these exercises before.
Hello, this is the literary and jury charge portion of the 120 class. We're going to start off with some congressional record, and the topic is the handicapped. Ready? Mr. President, I am submitting a resolution with several of my distinguished colleagues that will hopefully serve to reinforce an awareness of the needs of American citizens who are handicapped. I would like to urge both houses of Congress to concentrate on legislative initiatives that will further assist all disabled Americans in their movement to join the mainstream of society. The time has come to begin to recognize the potential contributions that the 38 million handicapped Americans can make. For too long now, we have emphasized the limitations of disabled individuals rather than giving them a chance to demonstrate their capabilities. During the past decade, we have made great strides in eliminating the barriers which have prevented the handicapped from circulating freely in our society. Ambitious programs which allow the disabled person greater accessibility to public and private buildings and transportation systems have been introduced. Along with the elimination of physical barriers, industry must learn to recognize the abilities of the handicapped. The intent of the resolution is to heighten public awareness of the problems faced by this country's handicapped people. As members of Congress, we can encourage the integration of the handicapped into the mainstream of society by introducing the legislative initiatives that will create employment opportunities for the disabled American. Mr. President, we are at a key point in time. We need to continue to foster a true awareness and a keener understanding of the obstacles that exist in community life for the handicapped individual. I ask for unanimous consent to have this resolution considered to establish a committee to study the problems of the handicapped and the integration into the industrial workforce. Let's make it our resolution to continue to open the doors for all handicapped Americans.
Okay. Didn't do very good on that. Well, I did a lot better than I thought I would, especially with the word contribution.
I have an article here. This is called No Hair Day.
No hair day. What's that mean?
Ready? If you are turning 16, you stand in front of the mirror, scrutinizing every inch of your face. You agonize that your nose is too big and you're getting another pimple, on top of which you are feeling dumb, your hair isn't blonde, and that boy in your English class has not noticed you yet. Allie never had those problems. 2 years ago, she was a beautiful, popular, and smart 11th grader, not to mention a varsity lacrosse goalie and an ocean lifeguard. With her tall, slender body, pool blue eyes, and thick blonde hair, she looked more like a swimsuit model than a high school student. But during that summer, something changed. After a long day of lifeguarding, Allie couldn't wait to get home, rinse the salt water out of her hair, and comb through the tangles. She flipped her sun-bleached mane forward. "Allie," her mother cried, "what did you do?" She had discovered a bare patch of skin on the top of her daughter's scalp. "Did you shave it? Could someone else have done it when you were sleeping?" Quickly, they solved the mystery. Allie must have wrapped the elastic band too tightly around her ponytail. The incident was soon forgotten. 3 months later, another bald spot was found, then another. Soon, Allie's scalp was dotted with peculiar quarter-sized bare patches. After diagnosis of "it's just stress" to remedies of topical ointments, a specialist began to administer injections of cortisone, 50 in each spot, to be exact, every 2 weeks. To mask her scalp, bloody from the shots, Allie was granted permission to wear a baseball hat to school, normally a violation of the strict uniform code. Little strands of hair would push through the scabs only to fall out 2 weeks later. She was suffering from a condition of hair loss known as alopecia, and nothing would stop it. Allie's sunny spirit and supportive friends kept her going, but there were some low points, like the time when her little sister came into her bedroom with a towel wrapped around her head to have her hair combed. When her mother untwisted the towel, Allie watched the tousled thick hair bounce around her sister's shoulders. Gripping all of her limp hair between 2 fingers, she burst into tears. It was the first time she had cried since the whole experience began. As time went on, a bandana replaced the hat, which could no longer conceal her balding scalp. With only a handful of wispy strands left, the time had come to buy a wig. Instead of trying to resurrect her once long blonde hair, pretending like nothing was ever lost, she opted for an auburn shoulder-length one. Why not? People cut and dye their hair all the time. With her new look, Allie's confidence strengthened. Even when the wig blew off from an open window of her friend's car, they could all share in the humor. As summer approached, Allie began to worry. If she couldn't wear a wig in the water, how could she lifeguard again? Why did you forget how to why did you forget how to swim? Her father asked. She got the message, and after wearing an uncomfortable bathing cap for only one day, she mustered up the courage to go completely bald, despite the stares and occasional comments from less than polite beachcombers. Why do you crazy kids have your heads shaved? Allie adjusted to her new look. She arrived back at school that fall. No hair, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, with her wig tucked away somewhere at the back of her closet. As she had always planned, she would run for school president, changing her campaign speech only slightly, presenting a slideshow on famous bald leaders, from Gandhi to Mr. Clean. Allie had the students and the facility and faculty rolling in the aisles. In her first speech as the elected president, Allie addressed her condition, quite comfortable, answering questions, dressed in a t-shirt with the words, "Bad Hair Day," printed across the front. She pointed to her shirt and said, "When most of you wake up in the morning and don't like how you look, you may put on this t-shirt." Putting on another t-shirt over the other, she continued, "When I wake up in the morning, I put on this one." It read, "No Hair Day." Everybody cheered and applauded, and Allie, beautiful, popular, and smart, not to mention varsity goalie, ocean lifeguard, and now school president with the pool blue eyes, smiled back from the podium.
Well, that went on for a while, and I didn't do very good on it.
Okay.
I don't know how long that was.
I'm going to be reading from The Search for Causes of Criminal Behavior. Here we go. The neutralization approach of Gresham, Sykes, and David Matska. The neutralization approach centers on rationalizations that allow offenders to shed feelings of guilt and responsibility for their behavior. Sykes and Matza believed that most people drift into and out of criminal behavior, but will not commit a crime unless they have available to them techniques of neutralization. Their study primarily concerned
I need to look up neutralization. Got it. Yeah, there is nothing. Trying to find anything. Oh. Okay, neutralization. Neutralization. Then. Uh-huh. I don't know how to write it. And this is one of the primary words in this exercise. Maybe I should add it. I should add something to my dictionary, maybe. Just this one word. Neutralization. Okay, I added it. Let's see if I remember what I just put down. Okay.
Juveniles for whom they
Hello.
suggested
How are you doing?
neutralization techniques provided only a temporary respite from guilt. That respite, however, lasted long enough to avoid the twinges of conscience while a crime was
I'm a little overwhelmed right now because she's saying neutralization and I don't know. I had to add it to my dictionary because I didn't know how to write it. Neutralization. Why isn't it? Yeah, it is a big moment. Didn't I just added this to my dictionary. Okay. Can you just practice it a little?
being committed. Neutralization techniques include the following: denial of responsibility. For example, I'm a product of my background. Denial of injury. For example, no one was really hurt. Denial of the victim. Example, they deserved it. Condemnation of the condemners. Example, the cops are corrupt. Appeal to higher loyalties. Example, I did it for my friends. Like containment theory, restraint theories tend to depend on a general agreement as to values, or they assume that offenders are simply conformists who suffer temporary lapses. Neutralization techniques, by definition, are only needed when the delinquent has been socialized into middle-class values or where conscience is well developed. Even so, this technique does not in themselves explain the crime. Such techniques are available to us all if we make only a slight effort to conjure them up. The real question is why some people readily allow pro-offered neutralizations to affect their behavior, while others effortlessly discount them. Then there's the labeling theory. The labeling theory is a social process perspective that sees continued crime as a consequence of the limited opportunities for acceptable behavior that follow from the negative responses of society to those defined as offenders. The labeling theory is the worth of any theory of behavior and is proved by how well it reflects the reality of the social world. In practice, however, theoretical perspectives find acceptance in the academic environment via a number of considerations. Labeling theory, for example, became fashionable in the 1960s. Its popularity may have been due more to the cultural environment into which it was introduced rather than to any inherent quality of the theory itself. Labeling theory was first introduced by Frank Tannenbaum in 1938 under the rubric of tagging. He wrote, "The young delinquent becomes bad because he is defined as bad and because he is not believed that he is good." He went on to say, "The process of making the criminal, therefore, is a process of tagging. It becomes a way of stimulating and evolving the very traits that are complained of. The person becomes the thing he is described as being." Tannenbaum focused on society's power to define an act or an individual as bad and drew attention to the group need for a scapegoat in explaining crime. The search for causes inherent in individuals was not yet exhausted, however, and Tannenbaum's theory fell mostly on deaf ears. By the 1960s, the social and academic environments in America had changed, and the issue of responsibility was seen more in terms of the group than the individual. In his book, Outsiders, published in 1963, Howard Becker pointed out that criminality is not a quality inherent in an act or in a person. Crime, said Becker, results from a social definition through law of unacceptable behavior. That definition arises through moral enterprise, by which groups on both sides of an issue debate and eventually legislate their notion of what is moral and what is not. Becker wrote, "Moral enterprise is the process undertaken by an advocacy group to have its values legitimate or embodied in the law. The central fact about deviance is that it is created by society. Social groups create deviance by making rules whose infraction constitutes deviance. The criminal label, however, produces consequences for labeled individuals that may necessitate continued criminality. In describing the criminal career, Becker wrote, "To be labeled a criminal, one need only commit a single criminal offense. Yet the word carries a number of connotations specifying auxiliary traits characteristic of anyone bearing the label. The first time a person commits a crime, the behavior is called primary deviance and may be a merely transitory form of behavior. However, in the popular mind, a known criminal is not to be trusted, should not be hired because of the potential for crimes on the job, and would not be a good candidate for the military, marriage, or any position requiring responsibility. Society's tendency towards such thinking," Becker suggested, "closes legitimate opportunities, ensuring that the only new behavioral alternative available to the labeled criminal are deviant ones. Succeeding episodes of criminal behavior are seen as a form of secondary deviance that eventually becomes stabilized in the behavioral repertoire and self-concept of the labeled person." Labeling theory can be critiqued along a number of dimensions. First, it is not really the theory in that labeling does not uncover the genesis of criminal behavior. It is more useful in describing how such behavior continues than in explaining how it originates. Second, labeling theory does not recognize the possibility that the labeled individual may make successful attempts at reform and may shed the negative label. Finally, the theory does not provide an effective way of dealing with offenders. Should people who commit crimes not be arrested and tried so as to avoid the consequences of negative labels, it would be exceedingly naive to suggest that all repeat criminal behavior would cease, as labeling theory might predict, if people who commit crimes are not officially handled by the system. Okay, and that concludes.
Oh my god, that had me going for a while. Damn, this is long. And I didn't even get everything down. It's okay. Really difficult. Oh my god, I'm almost done with the stream though. We're at Q&A.
Hello, this is going to be some Q&A practice for the 120 class. We're going to start off with the court.
The court.
Ready? All right. Is this your witness? Yes, Your Honor. This is one of my witnesses. All right. The other witness hasn't arrived as yet.
Hello.
Will you please state your name and address for the record, sir? My name is Peter Townsend, Townsend.
Clap
Jonas
attack.
is water just redeemed clap attack.
It finally works. Oh my god, this is revolutionary. Clap attack has never worked. Ever since I added it as a redeem. It has never worked until now. That's amazing. Nice typing speed. I'm not going very fast. I wish I were. Okay, thank you, Jonas, for the redeem. Clap attack.
D. My address is 7809 Del Mar Road.
Whoops. Okay, hold up. I need to reset
Send
myself.
TOWN.
Let me restart this.
Ready? All right. Is this your witness? Yes, Your Honor. This is one of my witnesses.
Oh my god, and I immediately mess up. Is this your witness? You type by looking. This is a machine with keys that don't have any notations on them, so it would be worthless for me to look down. It's not a regular keyboard. It's a machine that I have connected to my computer. It's more like a typewriter.
All right. Is this your witness? Yes, Your Honor. This is one of my witnesses. All right. The other witness hasn't arrived as yet. Will you please state your name and address for the record, sir? My name is Peter Townsend, TOWNSEND. My address is...
Did I just forget how to write witness? The answer. Yes, I did. I did forget. Witness, of course, is wit-wit. Isn't it? Not. Excuse me for a second. It seems I have descaled. There. Jeez. I really forgot.
Right. Is this your witness? Yes, Your Honor. This is one of my witnesses. All right.
Like going so slow.
The other witness hasn't arrived as yet. Will you please state your name and address for the record, sir? My name is Peter Townsend, Townsend. My address is 7809 Del Mar Road, El Paso, Texas. Mr. Townsend, what is your occupation? I am a deputy sergeant. Sir, how long have you been a deputy?
I'm glad it's relaxing. I can't hear it, but I play it for the stream.
Deputy sergeant. Sir, how long have you been a deputy sergeant? Let's see, for approximately 10 years. In the last 1 year, have you had any occasion to see, in the course of your duties as a deputy sergeant, the defendant, Daniel Elmore? Yes, I have. And will you tell us where you have seen Mr. Elmore and under what circumstances? Yes, in the last year, I have been assigned duty at the main jail facility in downtown El Paso. What has your contact been with Mr. Elmore? I have had contact with Mr. Elmore through my work at the main jail facility when I work in the minimum security area where he is housed. I have had conversations with him. Will you explain what the minimum security area is at the jail? Yes, the minimum security area in the jail is basically made up of 4 sections. Sections A, B, C, and D. Section C is where Mr. Elmore is housed. It has dorm areas where you will find anywhere from usually 10 to 16 inmates in a dorm. There is a rec room for every 40 to 60 inmates. There is a special area for trustees. So Mr. Elmore was housed in Section C? Yes, he was. Is he currently housed there? Yes, that's my understanding. Okay, and are you still in Section C? Yes, I am, but I do move all around the jail. The deputies and guards are assigned to various decks on an alternating 3-day basis to make sure our job doesn't get strictly routine. So I may work Section C once a week, and then again, I may not work it for a week. The change helps the jail personnel to keep on top of things. Okay, in the course of your work, have you had occasion to talk to Daniel Elmore? Yes, I have. And what did you talk about? Oh, just real general things, sports, weather, etc. Sometimes we'd talk about what's happening in the jail, what's happening today, how are you doing, this type of thing. Just real casual conversation for the most part. Did he ever talk to you about his family? I don't remember. Okay, you don't recall? Did you ever have any problems with Mr. Elmore while he was...
Listening to her make me feel that I talk really fast. She's reading at a slower pace than she normally would because this is 120 words per minute. So she's emphasizing every word very slowly, and I'm just trying to keep up.
Ever have any problems with Mr. Elmore while he was in jail? I personally never had any problems with Mr. Elmore at all. Well, have you found him to be cooperative, respectful, or dutiful, or what? In my experience in working in the jail and having had contact with Mr. Elmore, I have had no real problems. He has also always done everything that I have asked him to do. Has he done it willingly, or has he exhibited any hostility? He has always helped me willingly. Do you know an inmate, or did you know an inmate by the name of Thomas Porter? Yes, I did know Mr. Porter. Okay, and was Mr. Porter housed in the same dormitory with Mr. Elmore? Yes, he was. Did Mr. Elmore try to help Thomas Porter? What do you mean by help? Did Mr. Elmore exhibit concern and respect when dealing with Thomas Porter? Yes, it's my understanding that in observing them, that they had a pretty strong relationship as far as respect and caring for each other. Was it a brother-type relationship? Well, yes, there would be respect, caring, and concern. Do you know whether or not Daniel Elmore kept in touch with his family? I don't have any knowledge of that. Did he talk to you about his children, his wife? I don't recall. Can you think of anything else that you can say on behalf of Mr. Elmore? No, I can't. No further questions at this time. Counsel, cross-examination. Thank you. I take it Mr. Elmore has been in a minimum security area of Section C all of this time? Yes, ma'am. He is in one of those areas of the prison which, in terms of the jail security, has minimum restrictions placed upon the behavior of the prisoners upon what they can do. Is that right? That's right. I have nothing further. Redirect examination. Do you know a person by the name of Albert Egan? Yes, I do. Have you seen him, Mr. Egan, visiting with Mr. Elmore? Yes, I have on several occasions. Did Mr. Elmore ever mention the Bible to you or anything of a religious nature? No. Did you ever see Mr. Elmore reading the Bible? On occasion, I have seen him reading the Bible, yes. Okay, I'm going to switch transcripts.
Okay.
This is colloquy practice.
Colloquy. Oh no. I can barely keep up with the regular Q&A. Not colloquy.
Going to start off with the court. Number 3, Southern California Edison. Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Wuster appearing for the plaintiff. Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Griffin for defendants and moving parties. Before I get into the major points I wish to make, just as a procedural point of clarification, this office represents both Southern California Edison Company and the Shabatas. However, I'm sorry, I said that motion for defendant Edison and Jeffrey and McCosco Shabata for judgment on the pleadings. Right, but this motion is only being brought on behalf of Southern California Edison. Oh, okay, thank you. What the court seems to be relying on is some other type of language which has been found in the plaintiff's complaint, which says, quote, among other things, the defendants failed, end quote. So I call this boilerplate language. As I already quoted, and I noted, that's not really nothing more than boilerplate language, which can be found in one of the Horn books on pleadings, with all due respect to the court, I would submit that this type of boilerplate language was sufficient pleadings. Then no demur would ever be sustained, or no motion for judgment on the pleadings, which would ever be granted, because virtually every complaint has the same type of language. And, well, counsel, the problem is that when it comes to negligence, yes, all you have to say is they were negligent. You don't have to say how they were negligent. In fact, when I went to law school, we were specifically taught never plead how they were negligent, because if you do, you're bound to that. Now, he pled in part how they were negligent. He didn't. But he didn't say they were negligent in that they did X and X. They did X and other things. Okay, this concludes.
Wow, I didn't keep up at all. Maybe I should redo this. Should I redo this? I think I'll redo this.
20. All right. Is this your witness? Yes, Your Honor. This is one of my witnesses. All right. The other witness hasn't arrived as yet. Will you please state your name and address for the record, sir? My name is Peter Townsend, Townsend. My address is 7809 Del Mar Road, El Paso, Texas. Mr. Townsend, what is your occupation? I am a deputy sergeant. Sir, how long have you been a deputy sergeant? Let's see, for approximately 10 years. In the last 1 year, have you had any occasion to see, in the course of your duties as a deputy sergeant, the defendant, Daniel Elmore? Yes, I have. And will you tell us where you have seen Mr. Elmore and under what circumstances? Yes, in the last year, I have been assigned duty at the main jail facility in downtown El Paso. What has your contact been with Mr. Elmore? I have had contact with Mr. Elmore through my work at the main jail facility when I work in the minimum security area where he is housed. I have had conversations with him. Will you explain what the minimum security area
Playing RDR2? Thank you for the alert.
where he is housed? I have had conversations with him. Will you explain what the minimum security area is at the jail? Yes, the minimum security area in the jail is basically made up of 4 sections. Sections A, B, C, and D. Section C is where Mr. Elmore is housed. It has dorm areas where you will find anywhere from usually 10 to 16 inmates in a dorm. There is a rec room for every 40 to 60 inmates. There is a special area for trustees. So Mr. Elmore was housed in Section C? Yes, he was. Is he currently housed there? Yes, that's my understanding. Okay, and are you still in Section C? Yes, I am, but I do move all around the jail. The deputies and guards are assigned to various decks on an alternating 3-day basis to make sure our job doesn't get strictly routine. So I may work Section C once a week, and then again, I may not work it for a week. The change helps the jail personnel to keep on top of things. Okay, in the course of your work, have you had occasion to talk to Daniel Elmore? Yes, I have. And what did you talk about? Oh, just real general things, sports, weather, etc. Sometimes we'd talk about what's happening in the jail, what's happening today, how are you doing, this type of thing. Just real casual conversation for the most part. Did he ever talk to you about his family? I don't remember. Okay, you don't recall? Did you ever have any problems with Mr. Elmore while he was in jail? I personally never had any problems with Mr. Elmore at all. Well, have you found him to be cooperative, respectful, or dutiful, or what? In my experience in working in the jail and having had contact with Mr. Elmore, I have had no real problems. He has also always done everything that I have asked him to do. Has he done it willingly, or has he exhibited any hostility? He has always helped me willingly. Do you know an inmate, or did you know an inmate by the name of Thomas Porter? Yes, I did know Mr. Porter. Okay, and was Mr. Porter housed in the same dormitory with Mr. Elmore? Yes, he was. Did Mr. Elmore try to help Thomas Porter? What do you mean by help? Did Mr. Elmore exhibit concern and respect when dealing with Thomas Porter? Yes, it's my understanding that in observing them, that they had a pretty strong relationship as far as respect and caring for each other. Was it a brother-type relationship? Well, yes, there would be respect, caring, and concern. Do you know whether or not Daniel Elmore kept in touch with his family? I don't have any knowledge of that. Did he talk to you about his children, his wife? I don't recall. Can you think of anything else that you can say on behalf of Mr. Elmore? No, I can't. No further questions at this time. Counsel, cross-examination. Thank you. I take it Mr. Elmore has been in a minimum security area of Section C all of this time? Yes, ma'am. He is in one of those areas of the prison which, in terms of the jail security, has minimum restrictions placed upon the behavior of the prisoners, upon what they can do. Is that right? That's right. I have nothing further. Redirect examination. Do you know a person by the name of Albert Egan? Yes, I do. Have you seen him, Mr. Egan, visiting with Mr. Elmore? Yes, I have on several occasions. Did Mr. Elmore ever mention the Bible to you or anything of a religious nature? No. Did you ever see Mr. Elmore reading the Bible? On occasion, I have seen him reading the Bible, yes. Okay, I'm going to switch transcripts.
Okay.
This is colloquy practice.
I'm still not doing very good.
We're going to start off with the court. Number 3, Southern California Edison. Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Wester appearing for the plaintiff. Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Griffin for defendants and moving parties. Before I get into the major points I wish to make, just as a procedural point of clarification, this office represents both Southern California Edison Company and and the Shabatas. However, I'm sorry, I said that motion for defendant Edison and Jeffrey and McCosco Shabata for judgment on the pleadings. Right, but this motion is only being brought on behalf of Southern California Edison. Oh, okay, thank you. What the court seems to be relying on is some other type of language which has been found in the plaintiff's complaint, which says, quote, among other things, the defendants failed, end quote. So I called this boilerplate language. As I already quoted, and I noted, that's not really nothing more than boilerplate language, which can be found in one of the Horn books on pleadings. With all due respect to the court, I would submit that this type of boilerplate language was sufficient pleadings. Then no demur would ever be sustained, or no motion for judgment on the pleadings, which would ever be granted, because virtually every complaint has the same type of language. And, well, counsel, the problem is that when it comes to negligence, yes, all you have to say is they were negligent. You don't have to say how they were negligent. In fact, when I went to law school, we were specifically taught never plead how they were negligent, because if you do, you're bound to that. Now, he pled in part how they were negligent. He didn't. But he didn't say they were negligent in that they did X and X. They did X and other things. Okay, this can...
I didn't do very good the second time either. Damn. Okay, I'll do the test. And then I'm gonna be ending the stream in 6 minutes, probably.
Hello. M-A-Y. Defense attorney is Mr. Ball. B-A-L-L. Again, plaintiff attorney, Mr. May, M-A-Y.
Mr. May.
And defense attorneys, Mr. Ball, B-A-L-L.
Okay.
This is going to start off with plaintiff attorney.
Plaintiff attorney.
Ready?
Yes.
What address did you get? I can't think. It was on Magnolia. Was it on Magnolia Avenue in Beaumont? Yes, sir. Corner of 10th and Magnolia? Yes. Did you go to that residence? Yes. Nothing further. Cross-examination? As soon as you got to Banning, you drove up to that house? Yes, sir. And did you get out of your car and go up and try and contact people at the house? Yes. Who did you contact? Mr. Mason, I think. Joseph Mason? Yes. And did you speak with him? Yes. And did you inquire as to the whereabouts of Joseph Mason, his son? Yes, sir. Did you find Joseph Mason present at that location at that time? No, sir. And you left there? Yes. And where did you go? I went to the Banning Police Department. So this is sometime around 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. You've gone to Joseph Mason's residence that you had an address from the computer system and found him not home. You then went to Banning Police Department? Yes. What did you do there? I was picking up, receiving more information on Joe Mason, trying to find out, who his friends were. did some background investigation? Yes. At that point, you knew where the fingerprints that had been matched to Joseph Mason came from. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Where did they come from on the car? The left front driver's window. No further questions. While you were at Banning Police Department, did you get information that led you to go back to the 1002 Magnolia Avenue residence? Yes, sir. And about what time was it that you went back to the Magnolia residence of Joseph Mason? I think it was about 7 o'clock. Do you recall noting in your report that it was at 6 o'clock? It could have been, yes. If you wrote it in your report that it was 6 o'clock, would that have been accurate? Yes, sir. So you hadn't been at Banning Police
Let me snooze the ad break because I'm about to finish this. I just need like 2 minutes. Okay, it's been snoozed for 5 minutes.
Department very long before you were summoned to go back there? That's correct. How was it you got notified while you were at the police department to go back to the Mason residence? I had some of the police personnel there, plus police were there surveilling the residence, and a subject was seen matching Joe Mason's description going into the house. So after he was seen going into the house, somebody notified you, and you went back to the house? Yes. When you got back to the house, did you approach the house? Yes, we did. Did you knock on the door? No. You didn't knock? No. Did someone else knock on the door? Yes. And tell us who went to the other door with you. My partner, Detective Dale Stewart. Anyone else? There was several Banning police officers. And was one of the officers Bill Howlett from the Banning Police Department? Yes, sir. Do you see anybody in court right now who came to the door? Yes. Who was that? Joe Mason. Can you indicate where he is in court and what he's wearing now? Next to the deputy in the white striped shirt and dark tie. Could the record reflect he's identified Defendant Mason? The record will so reflect. Do you remember how he was dressed at the time he approached the door and... Yes. How was he dressed? He was dressed in his boxers. That is all that he had on. I have nothing further at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of that. I didn't do very good on the Q&A. Maybe I will next time, tomorrow. Damn. I was struggling so hard to keep up. Okay. Okay, I have 3 people, including me. So, what am I gonna rate? Saki was playing Phoenix Wright. Hell yeah. Okay. See y'all tomorrow for the 100th line. We're starting our second playthrough. That's gonna be fun. Can't wait to do that. Okay. Stop streaming. The SVG layout display tripled. Okay. See y'all tomorrow. Bye!